Everywhere you look today in the newspapers, they're talking about the wave of foreclosures that are about to happen, how the real estate market bubble is about to burst, and why we're about to have a glut of houses. Well, let's talk about that. What does that mean for you if you've been sitting on the fence waiting to jump in the market? Because it has been tough. I get it. There's no inventory and there's a lot of competition. But what is this wave of foreclosures? When is that tidal wave coming in? And when can you take part in it? Let's talk about that on the other side. If you're moving to Tennessee and thinking about buying a home, you may be excited by all the media attention, all the hype about the wave of foreclosures that so many places are predicting is going to happen, especially since the era of forbearance. The forbearance era started by the beginnings of COVID back a year ago. Especially since that is supposed to be over. That time period is over. People are supposed to start paying back the monthly payments that they have been putting off. And then we're going to supposedly have a wave of loans that are going to be called into foreclosure. So many people I've been hearing are saying, I'm excited. Now probably there's going to be a huge influx of houses that come on the market and prices are going to become more affordable. So let's talk about that. What is really going to happen, the way I see it and the way I know my history has shown me forbearance works, foreclosures works, the length of time it takes for any of that kind of thing to come to fruition, and why I really don't even think where there's going to be many of those. Let's talk about those reasons. I'm Susan Thetford, and this is the Nashville Redefined Show. Here on the show, we talk about all things eat, sleep, live, work, all the things we do here in the Tennessee area to see if that's a good fit for you. So if you're interested in moving to Nashville or investing in the Nashville, Tennessee area, or anywhere in Tennessee for that matter, then I suggest you go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Tap the bell so you don't miss a thing. I do a new show every single week talking about all things Tennessee. So as tough as the market has been, because it really is tough to find a home for the number of people coming into the Tennessee area, coming into Nashville, wanting to buy a home, wanting to get their kids here into schools at the right times, our prices have gone up just like so many other areas of the country. In fact, every area of the country has seen a massive influx. Why is that? Interest rates historically low. People are moving out of some of the huge cities and getting a little bit more space, a little bit more breathing room, trying to, in many cases, especially into Tennessee, come into a different kind of political atmosphere that they've got. And there's a huge demand for housing in a very low inventory situation. That too is throughout the country. Years ago, I went to some seminars with some land planners, and they were even saying as much as 7 years ago that in the years 2020 and forward, we are going to have massive loss of inventory. One, cost of development is so high. Two, what we're finding now, obviously, you know this, even your grocery stores are not being stocked well. The cost of lumber, the cost of transportation, the cost of all the things has gone up. Then you add COVID to it, where so many of the plants were laid off. They closed down lumber mills. They closed down a lot of the places that were supplying the parts that need to be manufactured and then transported to get to you and me. Because of that, you've got a stockpile of need. When there's a huge demand and very little supply, that's when prices go up. Now, add to that what COVID did in the beginnings of COVID, forbearance. Forbearance allowed people to go to their lender and say, hey, I've lost my job. I can't pay for my mortgage right now. I need to put this off. Now, a lot of people argued with me, and I've got a video explaining this. Forbearance did allow you, if you had a government-backed loan, a federal-backed loan, it did allow you to call your lender to say, I've got some issues with this. You had to put the paperwork all together. You had to get the agreement. But the monthly payments that you were missing could be added on to the end of the life of the loan, not just when you got outside of forbearance. Add to that, they have continually pushed out the time limit on which forbearance can be asked for. So what we had with the beginning of the COVID period, at the beginning of when forbearance was allowed, we had over 7 million homes in forbearance. Since then, today, we have less than right at $2 million homes. People have gone back to work. They've started making those payments again. We have less than 2 million homes in the entire country, and that's a lot. But we have less than 2 million homes in the entire country that are in forbearance. And although that was supposed to end in August, you can still go to your lender and say, I'm still not caught up yet. I need to put my home into forbearance and put those payments to the end of the life of the loan once you start paying on those. What the media is telling us is that we are suddenly going to have a huge influx of homes because people can't pay those, start paying those payments again. But the fact is, we have had here in Nashville about a 20% increase in home values. That's crazy. And it's not sustainable. But we have had about a 20% increase in home values over the last 14 or so months. What that means is that many of these homes that have put off those payments, and remember, that can go to as far as to the very end of the life of the loan. So if you had a 25 years remaining on your loan and you put your home into forbearance for 12 months, you are adding 12 more months to that life of that loan. It's not as though you had to pay all that money at once. Again, a lot of people argued with me. If you did it correctly, that's not the case. It was to the end of the loan. So once somebody starts making their payments, now what happens if they can't make those payments? That's why they're saying once you get out of forbearance and you still aren't making those payments, we're suddenly going to have a huge influx of homes that flood the market. When homes flood the market, then that means it becomes more of a buyer's market rather than what it is now is a seller's market. It's not going to happen. When we've had about a 20% increase in value, if you've owned your home for 3 years or more, that increase in value has certainly outpaced, in most cases, the amount in default, the amount in arrears of those loans. And rather than go into foreclosure, people don't even need to go to short sales. They can put their homes on the market and sell it probably for at least a couple $1,000s, walk away money, rather than send it to foreclosure and have that on your notes, or send it to a short sale kind of situation and have that on your credit history. So the difference here is that the forbearance allows people to put the payments way off into the end of the loan. If they can start making those payments, great, start making them, just keep on going with it. There's no reason for them to go on the market. If they do need to go on the market, rather than become a short sale or a foreclosure heaven to bid, put it on the market, sell it, have some walk away money until you can get your life back in order. And as tough as that is, it certainly is tough. That's the right way to go with it. Rather than have, as I say, have that on your record and go through the heartache of the short sale or a foreclosure. Now, that's one main reason I don't think we're going to have that flood. Houses aren't short. There's equity there. Although in August, the forbearance period was supposed to be over, they've actually allowed you to continue to extend that even longer and put your home into forbearance, even if it hasn't been there to this point, for up to 6 to 18 more months. So you can still have time to create more of that job stability and get your home out of forbearance and start making those monthly payments. Here's another big key feature that's different here. Lenders, the mortgage servicers don't want to get back into what happened in 08, 09. They don't want to get into the habit of taking homes back on foreclosure and needing to sell them. It was a massive cluster bomb. That's not their business. It cost a lot of money. And typically it can take anywhere from 7 months to years to actually get a home from foreclosure to on the bank books and then back off of the bank books. That's not their business. So many times you can go in and modify that loan, work with the lender and modify the loans. Believe it or not, the banking institution does not want to take back your house payments. Now, if you just ignore it and never pay things, you can't get it worked out. But they don't want to be in the business of owning a huge portfolio of homes. So the ability to refinance, the ability to work with them is huge right now. They've learned it costs too much money, too much time, too much effort. That's not their business. Their business is to make loans and make good loans. So they will work with you. the likelihood of all these houses going into foreclosure or even a short situation is really, really low. CNBC is even stating that the lenders are working with people to work with them to restructure their loans. The banking institution just does not want to get back into that 2008, 2009 problem again. So when will that wave of foreclosures happen? Before you see foreclosures, you're going to see the beginnings of short sales. Short sales means maybe I'm behind in my monthly payments. I will call the bank and say, I can't pay for this, but I want to sell it. And maybe there's a difference of $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in what I can actually sell the house for and what I owe on it. You can potentially find a short sale before it actually goes to foreclosure. Now, there's nothing about it short sale being short in time. It could take 6 months to 8 months, even that. But if you happen to find someone who is behind in their monthly payments and who has given all their paperwork to the bank and gotten permission to sell short, then that may be the best way to find yourself a real deal. By the time something's gone to foreclosure, many times it never even shows up on the open market. Many times people kind of more on the inside find out about all these foreclosure deals, and you, general public, never even see that opportunity to buy it, especially now as we have so many REITs, real estate investment companies, trying to buy up large volumes of homes and keep them on the rental markets. That's a whole other topic that is happening in many, many areas of the country where there's a lot of cookie cutter homes within about the same price point, maybe around a large corporation that wants to buy the property, hold them as rental property, and maybe have that be part of their moving package for people who are working for them. It's really hard to follow that because maybe it's a massive, say Amazon, and they have smaller companies underneath them, under that umbrella, that is buying up property, maybe around their plant, and keeping those as rental property and keeping it in the portfolio. The problem with that is the competition for the first time mom and pop buyer for homes, and holding it in their long-term portfolio is really good asset, hard asset for those companies to hold. So that's one of the reasons we're having very low inventory and a lot of competition for homes, is because you do have some of these corporations and real estate investment companies buying up assets and holding them long-term for rentals. Just another piece of that puzzle as to why there's very little inventory available and lots of competition. The best way for a homeowner in trouble to let go of their home is don't let it go to foreclosure. Take it into a short situation. If you don't understand what that is or need some expert advice, because you do, find yourself an expert in real estate in the short sale and foreclosure kind of business, because they can help walk you through that and how to talk to your lenders about getting the paperwork in order to have it be a short sale. And again, there's so much equity that has built up in the last 20 months even, that most homes I really don't think will need to go into foreclosure. Now, for you, the person who's looking maybe for a deal, you're going, I haven't found one yet. Here's what I suggest. Go and look up HUD homes. HUD does have homes that gone into foreclosure, and they open them up for purchase first for 10 full days for you and me, the mom and pop buyer, not the investor, not the corporate owner. They're wanting single families, people to buy those homes. Once it goes on the market, they've got 10 days. Now, you have to work with a realtor who has a HUD key. It's not really hard to find. Most of the larger companies do have the capacity to get a HUD key to get into those homes. And that's open to you for 10 days before your competition becomes the investor type buyer. So you can't snooze. Once it goes on the market, you got to be ready to jump and go take a look. Get your ducks in the row. Be pre-approved. We're back to the same situation. Here, we're sitting in July of 2021. For the last 18 months, people have been telling me I'm waiting for this bubble to burst. Things are going to happen. There's going to be a flood of homes on the market, and I'm going to wait and buy then. I've watched the prices go up. The number of people coming into town trying to buy a home has really gone up. So that's the competition has gone up. Interest rates are still freaking low. Actually, I think today was 2.78 for a new loan. So many people have actually refinanced. If you haven't refinanced, please take a look at that, because there's just not going to get lower. But we've got really, really low rates, very little inventory still. Developers are now just beginning to be able to get the lumber supply and things. And actually, lumber has gone down in the last 2-3 months. It really soared February, March, April. It's starting to go down, and it soared because, the manufacturers during COVID shut down their plants. It's now starting to come down as far as the lumber prices go, but we still don't have the selection. We still don't have the inventory of the copper, the things that all go into a home. So the prices of those homes are not going down. I've never seen them really go down anyway, because again, demand much higher than the supply. Rather than homes going into foreclosure, they should go into a short sale. Frankly, they shouldn't even probably need to go short if they've been owned for at least 3 years, because equity has appreciated. If it costs approximately 6% to sell the home through a realtor and 1% for title, that's 7%. We're seeing about a 20% increase in value of homes in the last 20 months. That's not a short sale. Just sell it. So if we don't have the shorts, we don't have the foreclosures, the interest rates are still low, people are still moving to Tennessee for umpteen million reasons. Let's talk about a couple more reasons why I don't see any slowdown in what's happening in the Tennessee area. Let's just take one county last quarter. In Williamson County, which is where Franklin is and Brentwood is and Spring Hill. Williamson County is the county just south of Davidson County, one of the major areas that I work. In 2020, the median home price was $649,000. 2021, $884,000. That's $240,000 higher, same quarter, year over year. Days on the market in 2020 was 26 days on the market. The days on the market in 2021, same quarter, 8. Competition, very low inventory, higher prices, and the number of homes sold in 2021 was 622. The number of homes sold in 2021, 552. Less inventory, lots of desire, higher prices, lower days on the market. That competition is not going down. And as you can see, if it had a $240,000 median price increase year over year, you can see that's not going to be a short sale. Let's talk about a few other reasons why Middle Tennessee itself, I don't see any other reasons that it's going to be going down anytime soon, nor do I see any reason that the desire to move here is going down anytime soon, because let's talk about the corporate environment and the great job growth that's here. In just 2 counties alone, in Nashville, it always goes back to location, right? That is the golden rule of real estate. Wilson County now has 2 Amazon fulfillment distribution centers, and this last one opens up just this month in July, was slated to have 1,000 new jobs. Wilson County is east of Nashville. It's the one county over. It's where the town of Mount Juliet is. I've gotten some videos that have shown you a little bit about what Mount Juliet is. So Mount Juliet is thriving. It's more reasonably priced than some of the other areas. And because of that huge job growth, now the second Amazon fulfillment center opening up there, the job growth is skyrocketing. Let's add another piece. Oracle is now developing 60-acre campus on the east side of the river over in East Nashville. It is to bring in 8,500 new full-time jobs at $110,000 salary. So that's bringing in a huge influx of people to the Nashville area working, and those are high-tech, high-paying jobs. That's in Davidson County. Let's go down south. Let's go over into Williamson County, down to the Spring Hill area. LG is building a lithium plant next to the GM plant for batteries, for auto batteries. That plant is to be in Spring Hill. It's bringing a $2 billion investment into Spring Hill. Should be finished 2023 and expects 1,300 new full-time employment technological jobs, high-paying jobs. Those are just 3. Then you add our healthcare, you add the hospitals and the huge growth, the banking. We have a very varied income base from which to get great educated, high-paying jobs. And those are bringing people into the area big time. So as sad as it really is, with the very low interest rates, the low inventory, foreclosures, I just don't see being a big deal coming up. Certainly not going to have many short sales because they don't need to be short sales. What it does mean is you just got to knuckle down, find the best things you can do, maybe, narrow down the must-haves from the want-to-haves to get into an area. But back to the location, golden rule. Get to the area you want to be in, find the best home you can, get there, start building that equity. But truly, I really don't see any reason to believe that we're going to see that wave of foreclosures have any effect on the Middle Tennessee, Nashville, surrounding SMSA counties. Just not going to happen. Now, I will say there is a glimmer of hope here, a big glimmer of hope. First of all, it's a great place to live. So if this is of interest to you, then I implore you, go ahead and subscribe to this channel, tap the bell, tell your friends who are considering it, because I do want to give out as much good information as I possibly can to help you make some good informed decisions. If there's something you want to know about, an area that you want me to go to, or a topic you want me to talk about for the area, you know me, I'm going to tell it to you straight. I will say that I've seen a little bit of softening. Price drops? No. A little less volatility as far as, you do have more than 74 minutes to make a snap decision and put in an offer on a house. It's softened a little bit. I don't think we're going to have the aggressive marked up prices because people are just kind of tired of the whole thing. But as far as price drops, I don't see it. Softening a little bit, maybe. Flattening out a little bit, maybe. And those would all be a really good thing right now. But as far as the foreclosures go, the wave of foreclosures, all the stuff that I'm seeing on the media, frankly, media's an awful lot of hype about an awful lot of things. And that's just another place that I would suggest you don't really listen to. This is Susan Thetford. Until next week or next time, be blessed.